Hey everyone, we are back for another week of exciting rehearsals. This week we are talking LGBTQIA plus Pride Month. We also find out what made Emily say.
And just hearing you talk about how important this has been to you, it's just like you're supporting my research.
And why Whitney said.
I mean, everybody knew that most of the guys were gay, but most of the girls were straight usually.
All of this and more, so get out on the field and we'll see you back on the sidelines for this week's episode of On a Water Break.
8 off the mat and go. Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in. It's time for a water break.
Welcome to another episode of Season 2 of On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. I'm Ricardo Robinson-Shinall, and we are in for an exciting rehearsal this week. But before we get to all of that, let's see who's on the sidelines this week. My forever roomie, Whitney.
Hey.
What's going on, girlie?
Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month to you as well. We also have Emily on the sidelines. Emily, what's happening?
What's up, y'all? I have spawned in once again. Grad school is hard sometimes.
Child, I know that grad school grind, honey. So I applaud you for making it through it. And you know what? You will come out stronger on the other end.
That's what I keep telling myself. We will see.
It's hard in the thick of it, but when you get done, it is such an accomplishment. So, we're rooting for you. You're going to be great, sweetie. You're going to write all those papers. You're going to get it done.
Thanks for believing in me.
Always and forever. And happy Pride to you. Okay, now that everyone is on the sideline, let's meet our guest clinician for this part of the story, my friend and homegirl, David Triplett-Rosa. David, happy Pride Month to you. So, David, we do this thing here at On a Water Break, and it is called a 32 count life story. And here's how it happens. So we'll give you 8 off the mat. Then you have 32 counts to tell us your entire life story from birth or wherever you feel like starting it, all the way up until now. Honey, me too. So you can fit it into 32 counts.
Got it.
You ready to do this?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. 8 off the mat.
Hi, everyone. Like everyone said earlier, my name is David Triplett-Rosa. I graduated from Fort Myers High School, grew up there. My family is from Puerto Rico. I went to Florida State twice for my undergrad and master's. And a few years later, I was teaching high school band and then moved to Tampa and decided to form the Tampa Bay Pride Band, now with the symphonic band and the jazz band and the marching band, and teaching in Hillsborough County as a middle school band director. How'd I do?
That was great. That was a perfect 32 life story. So I first met David years ago when I was doing one of the several Pride color guards that we have here in the Tampa Bay area. And we actually started our color guard, and our friends who are also band people were doing the Pride Parade. We started our Pride Guard for the St. Petersburg Pride Parade, which is one of the largest in the Southeast. And David and some other band friends reached out to us and said, hey, we're going to do Tampa Pride this year, and we have a band, and we would love to have a color guard join us. So we kind of joined forces and marched in a parade together, and it was an amazing experience. But David, you have taken the Tampa Bay Pride Band and you have done some amazing things with it. It's not just about doing the Pride Parade. Tell us about some of the endeavors that the Tampa Bay Pride Band is doing.
Yeah, so we started in February, basically of 2014, and our organization has grown in many different ways. Lots of things to be proud of. The membership, obviously. We started at, our starting meetup was at the Honey Pot, which is the gay bar there. That was our rehearsal spot. And it was one of those things that going to rehearsal and smelling the bar from the night before, the sticky floors. I mean, it added a whole new kind of element to rehearsal. But it's grown leaps and bounds, and we're now at HCC, Hillsborough County Community College in Ybor still. That's our roots. That's where we want to stay. But we've grown in the sense of membership, location, musicianship. The program has grown to where we're able to play some really significant music. We were invited to play at ACB, which is the Association for Concert Bands, in Orlando, which was really a treat to do because we got to see all these other community bands that were not LGBTQ and a part of the Pride Band Alliance. And so that was really, really great to be a part of that and mix with those groups. We also performed in Orlando, and we hosted a conference for the LGBA at the time before it became Pride Bands Alliance. I was a part of the board at the time to help organize and get some things going to where one of the things I would say that as the band grew, some of the ideas as a band director that could help the Pride Band Alliance was getting them to network more so with conferences outside of itself, such as FMEA, Midwest. So I was very, very proud to be a part of the Tampa Bay Pride Band being the first Pride Band to be a part of the Florida Music Educators Association and being there at the conference. And then we took it a step further and went to the largest international music educators association conference in Chicago. So that type of networking allowed more visibility because that's a big part of the Pride Band Alliance mission is visibility. And I think that's what this month is about, right? Is the visibility of our pride to be who we are and letting people know that we exist and in all facets, right? I mean, right now it's mainly in this respect is music, right? So it's really, really great to be a part of it and see how well it's growing.
David, I love the concept of, an organization that is started by gay and queer and lesbian people, all on one shared bond of a love for music. And you have been able to take this organization and turn it into something that is not just represented, once a year or twice a year at the local Pride festivals, but turning it into a legitimate concert organization, a legitimate jazz organization that is performing at all of these national and state events, that has to truly, feel that semblance of pride for you and the members of the organization.
Yeah, and one of the things that I wanted to do, and I tell people often, what arts organization doesn't have gay people, queer people, all of the spectrum, right? And we have that, but our mission is for everyone, but our mission specifically is to support the LGBTQ community through music. But it's for everyone, it's not specifically, our membership, I think most people would be surprised is 60% ally, and that's a really, really great thing because they understand our mission. They are allies and support it. And they love the music that we do. And I think that's a very significant difference than other community bands. And the other thing that we do that is also very different is I make it very, very clear that we need to give back. There's a lot of communities that they perform for themselves and generate, their thing within. And that's totally fine. Do what you do. But I like being able to give back to local high schools, like Middleton High School, Jefferson High School, and especially the schools that need that support through that sometimes doesn't come through Title I and things like that. And we've raised a significant amount of money yearly for donations plus instruments. And we've also, of course, participated in other things for the trans community. We've performed for them. We've helped organize with them in Ybor City. My husband played a big role in this to help to get the supplies and the things that to help give the trans community all the support and supplies to help in whatever they needed and their transition and such. And just seeing how all the LGBTQ community being a part of that and supporting that specific group, and the way that we did as a band. So it's heartwarming. It's really great, and I love seeing the range of people that support it.
David, we are here in Florida, and I don't want to make this podcast any type of political situation or theme, but it is very obvious to the rest of the world some of the challenges that we are facing right now in our political climate, especially in the state of Florida. With the Tampa Bay Pride Band taking on all of these incentives to give back to the community and make themselves visible, and relying on the 60% allies that are in the band program, have you faced any challenges with the band?
We have, and we've faced some challenges, in some surprising ways. I don't want to necessarily get into too much in the weeds of it, because I feel like I would rather talk more about. Yes, there were some moments, but the best part of what came out of that, which I think is a tale of as old as time, is realizing or not realizing and having surprises where people out in the community who hear about it, find out about it, and then you realize, oh my goodness, there's so much more support out there than you realize. And it's a beautiful thing when that happens. And that the story that I will tell people is that if any of you out there listening have a struggle, come your way. Be brave, challenge yourself to state what it is that's happening, gather your support, and you will get through it, because we're not going anywhere. At the end of the day, the governor will, or this state governor, anybody's governor, this senator, that senator, their time will come and go. But as a community, we're not leaving. So it's one of those things that it's wonderful
Amen.
to see the level of support, because it went from just neighbor, friends, people in the area to all the way to the mayor's office. So it was one of those beautiful things to see, even though it was tough to get through and realize people were out there being hateful.
Yeah.
I swear this is related, but recently in grad school, because everything is about band, everyone knows this, hence why we're here on this podcast. But I was actually, for one of my classes, I had to do a research mock paper, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it about LGBTQ bands and talk about how my research project, if I had one, would be to interview different people from Pride bands and talk about the sense of community and the positiveness associated. And just hearing you talk about how important this has been to you, it's just like you're supporting my research. Who knows? Maybe it'll be my master's project.
I say do it. I say do it.
Gay band. Woo!
Yes.
Did you say gay band or gay band?
Yes. Gay band, gay band. Come on. Everyone knows. They're like, Emily, where are you going this weekend? To the gay band. Which one? Yes.
Yeah. For someone who grew up in the South and just being able moving from the country to the city, country come to town, as they say, I just find it so refreshing that there are organizations that are specifically founded on gay, lesbian, bisexual, queer people who can come together and have a shared sense of community and then spread that love out into the further community of musicians and the arts. I just think it's just a powerful thing.
Could I wanted to, if I could, I wanted to make sure I say this before I forget, with the Tampa Pride and such, I'm the band liaison for Tampa Pride, which basically I tried to get the high school bands to participate in the parade. The Tampa Pride organization gives them a stipend of sorts to help them with buses and so on and so forth, which is really great. The Tampa Bay Pride Band hosts a spot for them so that they're not in the heat so much. And it's one of those things that there was a time that I was very, very concerned about opening the Pride Parade up to schools, right? Secondary. And it became really scary when Don't Say Gay happened. And, it became one of those things that it really tested a lot of people in their courage. And it was really, really a beautiful thing that I had an administrator that was just beyond supportive. And I approached it with, because I'm currently teaching middle school. I taught high school most of my career, but I'm now teaching middle school so I can do more of the Tampa Bay Pride Band stuff with my community band. But when I brought it up to her, she was all for it. We had, made sure that it was in a voluntary format, so parents could not and say no, we can't do it, or we don't want to, or whatever the case may be. And my middle school band was the first middle school band to march in the Tampa Bay Pride Band. Not to say that it was, which is really great and visible first, but what was most significant to me is when I had the sign up, and it touched me so much when the parents were signing up, registering their child, and I'm just seeing the list grow. And it just was a testament to society that even though there are some louder voices out there at the moment about this or that, I mean, it was just a beautiful thing to see, and it was a testament to society. And again, happening through music, like who would have thought like these things could have happened and really show a sense of force and strength that you're not going to support marginalizing a community. And even at the middle school level, and then the high school came through, and it was just a beautiful thing to see. So these pride parades, wherever they are extremely vital. And the more bands that participate in them, the better. And I would encourage anybody who's out there listening, if they don't have a band that would support that, go to the Pride Band Alliance. Find that band that's near you. And for us, you just show up the 2 rehearsals before the parade and you're in. So it's something as simple as that you can do. So go out there, research your community bands out there that's under the Pride Band Alliance if your bands are not a part of it. But if anybody wanted to reach out, they can easily go to the Tampa Bay, the info at tampabayprideband.com. If you had questions about how to join, how to start one in their area, I can help lead them in the right directions to help grow this.
Oh, David, we love it. We love the fact that community is fostering community. It's meta community, if you want to think of it that way. We are so honored that you and other Pride bands have taken on this amazing feat of getting recognition out into the world, and with the high schools and middle schools performing, and that we are seeing that, society is different and that people are changing and that we do have many allies, all out there. So, David, thank you so much for talking about this. David, if people want to reach you on social media, where can they find you?
They can simply search for Tampa Bay Pride Band through social media. We have our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and we have our website, tampabayprideband.com. You can reach us there. Specifically, our info at our email, info at Tampa Bay Pride Band. If you want to send any specific questions, please reach out to us. We're happy to help. I've been a part of the Pride Band Alliance board, so I know how to direct if you have any questions to get you connected with more things. But joining a group in the area is definitely something I can help with for sure.
Awesome. David, thank you so much for joining us today. We are about to go to commercial, and when we come back, our next guest clinician for this part of rehearsal is Jennie Lang, who is the marching band director of the Rainbow City Band. We'll be back after these announcements.
Hey, this is Christine Ream
and Chris Green.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs.
Our consignment inventory has plenty of great looks for your color guard, drumline, and marching band.
Pay it forward. When you purchase consignment, you help other programs. Last year, we sold over 400 sets of consignments and returned over $125,000 in payments to our consigners for their sales.
Additionally, Guard Closet offers custom and pre-designed costumes, flags, floors, and formal wear, full or partial show writing, educational programming, and other services.
Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
The Guard Closet team is here to help you get everything you want and need for your season. Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
All right, listeners, we are back from commercial break and we are still here on a water break. And Emily, our next guest clinician, is a friend of yours. So I'm going to pass the mic over to you to let you introduce your friend. Who do we have with us?
Yes, hello. Look, I finally brought a person. But yes, I brought our adultier adult, Jennie Lang, from Rainbow City Performing Arts. So this next part's going to go is that basically you're going to introduce yourself in the 32 and 32 counts. You're going to hear the Met count out you off, and then you're going to tell us everything you know in those 32 counts. Ready?
All right, gonna do my best.
I believe.
Hi, I'm Jennie Lang. I use all pronouns. My band origin story is I grew up in a couple of small towns in Texas. Started playing clarinet when I was in 6th grade. Did marching band all through high school, and it just kind of escalated from there. Majored in music education, taught high school marching band. Now I ended up in Seattle and love it. Ended up in Rainbow City Performing Arts as a performer, and then somehow, some way, ended up working my way into leadership there. And then, darn it, I did not make it to the third. So close, so close.
It was so good, though. We appreciate it.
Just like, I had to think on it really hard. I'm like, have I actually ever existed? What is life? What is existing?
Who are you? How did we get here?
Right? It's like, what is even happening right now?
Jeannie, tell us a little bit about your organization and what your organization stands for in the LGBTQIA plus community.
All right. So Rainbow City Performing Arts is an amazing performing arts organization. Our just kind of the general of our mission is to promote the equity and visibility of LGBTQIA plus musicians and the LGBTQIA plus community through our music, through what we do, as being both performers in concert halls or out in the community, whether that is at a parade with the Rainbow City Marching Band or at fundraisers, or we have our Rainbow City Jazz Band that performs regular gigs all over the Seattle area, our Rainbow City Concert Band, Rainbow City Orchestra. We perform at Menoriah Hall in Seattle, which is one of the biggest performing halls in the Northwest. And it's an absolutely beautiful facility. And we just wrapped up our first season there, and it was just amazing. So we try our best to reach out to as many communities as possible, particularly those that are underserved and under-recognized, to make sure that there is access to what we're doing, access to our mission.
You talked about fundraisers. What are some of the organizations that Rainbow City is raising money for?
Well, sometimes we do 50-50 raffles or we involve ourselves with various community organizations. I am blanking so hard right now on some of the ones. It's like as if I've never done this. I've never heard of these before. I know.
You're on the spot, so it's okay.
I know. I'm just trying to remember things. It's hard at this point. So let me actually look real quick. So one of the organizations that we have worked with is Gay City Seattle, which we performed at the World AIDS Day memorial for the area, where we were able to use our music to connect with a really important part of our LGBTQIA plus community, and bring awareness and bring ourselves into that fold with our what feels like a sister community organization. Let's see.
That's awesome.
Oh, I think I remember what it was. There it is. The Elizabeth Gregory House is another one. Okay, so the other one. All right.
Hold on. Just take a break, take a breath, and then start with, and another one is, and Jeremy can edit it out.
Yes. And another organization we have partnered with in the past is the Elizabeth Gregory House, which the organization works with at-risk women and LGBTQIA plus community members to make sure that they have access to safe housing situations and safe situations.
I think that's fantastic. I love the idea that it is, an organization, again, started with the ideas of LGBTQIA plus people, but getting out into the community, showing that we are all part of a greater community. It's just an amazing thing what you guys are doing. Tell us, what is one of the biggest challenges that you have found in your organization, being an organization that is based on queer ideals?
Honestly, one of the biggest challenges we've been experiencing is the sheer amount of growth the organization has experienced after COVID. Mostly because, I know, it's a beautiful thing. Because we realized during COVID, we were missing so much community connection. And in 2022, that is when the concert band got back together. We kind of had a soft start in 2021 with the marching band before the Omicron COVID wave came through. So we were able to play a few events and get together and connect, and it was amazing. And then 2022, we started our concert band back, and it was a huge group that was able to come together to really get the organization going again and literally bringing the band back together. But we've experienced so much growth in the past 2 years where people are seeking connection. They're seeking affirmation with each other and seeking community, which is one of those huge things. We've been experiencing so much growth that right now the organization is kind of playing catch up when it comes to facility space, instruments, and having the minimal amount of barriers for people to be able to join.
That's awesome. What are some of the things, you were just talking about the growth that's happening with your band program. What is it like running an organization that is based in LGBTQIA plus roots?
It is absolutely amazing because there's something really beautiful about being a performing arts organization that has that intersection with the LGBTQIA plus community, because arts people seek affirmation with each other. The LGBTQIA plus community seeks affirmation with each other. And we are just this beautiful, beautiful intersection between the two, where we are able to be together for a common cause and be there as a big affirmation group together, because we have people with similar experiences. We have, I love them, our gay moms. I love our gay moms at the organization that have been there forever. Shout out to Cindy Bronheim and Betsy Smith and Pamela. We have so many amazing people in our organization that have such a rich history, and it's almost like having a queer anthology of band history within the Seattle area from all of these individuals. So it's really a beautiful thing. Like the Rainbow City Marching Band, we have been around since 1998. We just finished out our 25th anniversary year, so which is a huge thing for us. And it has been very interesting. I actually got to meet the original director of Rainbow City Band, Joanne Christensen, may she rest in power. I got to meet her before she had passed away. And one of the things she had told me is that she never thought that her little ragtag group of musicians would be doing these things that we're doing, like performing at Seahawks games, being asked to perform in so many different huge spotlit venues. So it's just such a cool thing to be a part of something that's so much bigger than yourself, and also paving the way for our next generation. Performing at Pride, seeing all of those kids, teenagers that are in such a different place than maybe myself and Emily, since we're pretty close-ish to the same age. It's such a different environment to grow up in the 2020s versus, early 2000s. Very different as a queer youth to grow up here, but we're paving the way to make sure that there is a social safety for our next generation of queer folks and musicians. So it's a beautiful thing.
I love that. We were talking earlier about meta communities, and your community with your gay band is just sparking interest outside of our community and showing that there is a place for everyone to belong. I have a quick question for you. So will you tell us, do you know how many allies or the ratio or percentage of allies that you have in your band that are not necessarily queer, but they are just supportive of our community?
I don't know the exact ratio, but there's two members that I think of in particular. They're a wonderful couple that they have been in RCPA for so many years, and I've seen the organization through so many things. And they recently had their anniversary as like married man, married woman. And the husband of the pair, he's like, I realized that me and my wife have been able to call ourselves spouses legally way longer than so many of our friends who have been together the same amount of time. And that was just one of those things he had actually just put on Facebook, really. And I was like, at the level of introspection on that, of realizing this is a privilege that I've had and that my loved ones have not been able to have. And so we do have such amazing allies and supporters within our organization that really do make such a huge difference for us.
There was some famous person, and I'm going to butcher the quote, so I'm not even going to really try to say it, but we are only as strong as the allies who support us. And so it's a great thing to have those people in our community that are not necessarily directly a part of the community, but support what it is and see that everyone is human and love is love and all of those great things. Jennie, it has been great chatting with you. We are going to go to a quick commercial break, and we will be back on our water break in just a moment.
Hey everyone, it's Jeremy, and here are your announcements coming from the box. Don't miss all of our bonus content, including On a Water Break in Rhinestones with your host Lexi Duda, exploring the world of the Twirlers. Don't miss Parades and Drum Majors at Step Off with your host Jack Goudreau, and get lost in translation with your host Cynthia Bernard, exploring all the words that confuse all of us in the marching arts all across the world. And go Behind the Lens with marching arts photographers all across the country with your host, Chris Marr. Plenty more bonus content from On a Water Break, so listen anywhere you get your podcasts. If you want to be on a Water Break as a guest, or you know somebody that would make a great guest for On a Water Break, email us at onawaterbreakpodcast@gmail.com.
All right, we are back from our commercial break. I am Ricardo, and I'm here with my friends Whitney and Emily. Emily, we did not get Jennie's social information, so could you share that with our listeners?
Ricardo, we forgot to ask Jennie before she left. Darn it. Good thing we're in the same organization, so I got you covered. So if you want to follow Rainbow City Performing Arts, you can go to rainbowcity.org, and their Instagram handle is simply Rainbow City Performing Arts. And we talked to someone from the Tampa Bay Pride Band too, so if people are curious, they can go to pridebands.org and continue to explore what pride bands are in their area.
Love it, love it, love it. listeners, you know that sound means that it is time for us to report live from the scene on various news articles that are happening right now. Whitney, we're going to start with you. What's happening, girlfriend? What's on the news?
So the first thing we're going to talk about is the Skittles commercial that they partnered with the Queer Big Apple Corps from New York City. And they made this cute little video with them, and I just think it's awesome that Skittles, they're pretty infamous for supporting LGBTQ, supporting our community. I love
because you got to taste the rainbow.
Right? And I love that mystery bag that they come out with like every year. It's like all white because it doesn't matter, whatever. Love Skittles. But this is just a cute little promo video they did with them, and it just highlights, the Queer Big Apple Corps. And I didn't even know that this group was a thing, so it's cool to learn about a new group and taste the rainbow.
It also means that we should all go outside and go to the store and buy Skittles because they are actually genuinely invested in the LGBTQIA plus community and not just doing it for this month so that they can get their corporate greed. So, Emily, you are going to tell us about the Pride Band Alliance. What's happening with that?
Yes. So the Pride Band Alliance has an annual conference that moves every year. And this year it's going to take place in Columbus. Ooh. The title of this conference is called The Heart of It All. And it's going to be scheduled for July 17th to the 21st. And it aims to be a conference rich with artistic collaborations, musical performances, vast opportunities to explore the city and events like never before. I wish I could go, but, travel's hard and expensive in this economy.
I know that's right. Unfortunately, I'll still be on drum corps tour, so I can't go. But if anyone is interested in going, Emily, where is the best place for them to find information?
Information for the conference?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it's at same website as earlier, pridebands.org. If you just go to their website, there is an entire tab about the upcoming conference. It's on the front page. It says 2024 Annual Conference. And it has all the information you could possibly need.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, it's time to dive into what it's like being queer in the marching arts. So let's maybe tell your favorite or funniest story about being LGBTQIA plus in the marching arts. Whitney, you want to go first?
I've honestly been trying to think about like a funny story. And I just really struggle with this. However, I guess like for a long time, a lot of people, because, when we were marching, Ricardo, you understand this, and Jeremy too, like it wasn't, everybody knew that like most of the guys were gay, but like most of the girls were straight usually. So a lot of people didn't know really that I was bi, or they would assume that I was, straight. And then Heather and I got together. Heather's like really pretty popular in the color guard community too. So I think we just like kind of blew a lot of people's minds and didn't know.
Including mine.
So and I had dated some girls before that, but like she was my first like real big female relationship. But I honestly, I don't really have anything that's funny. I don't think. I don't know. Somebody else probably has a funny story, but about me.
Funny because I shared a room with you for months while we were marching together, and I had no idea. So when you got married to Heather, I was like,
no labels.
Yeah, you like the wine, not the label. Huh?
Yes. Thank you, David. Thank you,
Emily. Tell us a funny or important story in your life about being LGBTQIA plus in the band world.
Yes. So I am one of those late bloomers, as they call them, because I didn't really think about it until like after college, even though there were bright neon signs going, hey, I think you might be queer. Me? Nah, that's not possible. But anyway, this story is like not super related to that, but it's still funny, I think. So I managed to figure out how to make clip-on googly eyes for certain instruments. So now I am equipping our Rainbow City Marching Band with mountable googly eyes on the brass instruments.
You
it is
are
wonderful.
Emily, you're the same level of chaos as my roommate Chelsea. You two would get along really well. The googly eyes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I found out a specific type of clothespin from Michaels fits exactly over the bell of most instruments. Why do I know it's anyway? So, and I have them in different sizes too. There's little ones for the trumpets. There's bigger ones for like the marching mellophones and baritones. And then I have, giant Sousa ones.
Love it. Love it. Well, I guess, I will tell my story now. I moved to Florida about 15 years ago. This is my 15th year at the school that I've been teaching at. And when I moved here, I moved because my life was kind of taking a really crazy direction and I needed a change. So I packed up and moved to a place that I knew not a single person. And I jumped online and I was like, I need to find something to do. And I know that there's a huge gay community here in St. Petersburg in the Tampa Bay area. And at the time, there were two queer color guards that existed for the Pride Parade. And I got online and I researched one and then I messaged another one. And it turns out that someone that I knew from my years of working with the BOA and the Music for All Summer Symposium was kind of one of the directors and leaders of one of the color guards. And so I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I don't know anybody here. I just need something to do. And so I joined this group called STP, which stood for St. Petersburg Twirling Project. And it was the second gay color guard organization here in the Tampa Bay area. And it was founded by a mixture of Madison Scouts and my brothers, the Cavaliers. And so I started going to rehearsals with them. These guys actually did the St. Petersburg Christmas Parade. And then they did the Pride Parade in June. So I went into a rehearsal and, started doing color guard stuff, meeting people that did the same thing that I did, that had all been involved in drum corps and winter guard. Some were teaching, some were not teaching, and they'd had other careers and aspirations. And I met the first people that were going to be my friends here in Tampa Bay. And, 15 years later, I'm still talking to these people all the time. We still get together and do stuff. So, it's kind of amazing what our activity brings to the world because it's always an instant family that happens, but to have a family that is specifically, LGBTQIA plus to walk into when you don't know anybody and have a welcoming community, it meant the world to me. So I'm grateful for that. And I will always be grateful for my friends, including my best friend whom I met in that organization. So it's great. Oh, it looks like our producer, Jeremy, wants to chime in with a personal story of his own. What's happening, boss man?
Oh, boss man. No, it's like hearing your stories. And first off, Whitney, I mean, come on, that is a funny story. That is literally a funny story. It's like everyone was shocked. I mean, everyone's like, oh my God, that's really funny. But it's just funny. That is funny. No, I kind of wanted to really sort of illustrate my being gay in this activity, which again, Ricardo, I go back further than you. I know it doesn't look
not much, baby.
Not much.
We were both in the 1900s, okay?
Yeah. So coming out then, was very, very different just in general. And, it's like Whitney said, it was like, yes, every boy was gay and every girl was straight. We just kind of dealt with it. And I was in Field of View at the time, and there's a lot of big personalities in Field of View. Jay McCarroll, who won Project Runway, the first Project Runway was in when I marched. Joe Heiniger, who now runs Show Day Designs, was there when I was marching. These are huge personalities, even still to this day. And they were
you marched with all the designers.
A little bit. and Michelle Owens, and I mean that's like a whole other list of people. That's like
Susie
insane.
Harloff. We can keep going.
Yeah, I mean it's really like there's like a couple of years of Field of View that it was like kaboom, like.
The
But
who's
anyway,
who of color guard.
yeah. But so at that time, I had come from a very small town, very small town, and there was like no talking about anything like that. So when I got to college and was marching, it was like, even that much more of a fear in me. I almost rebelled against it because of how outwardly open these people were. Jay McCarroll, Joe Heininger, these people were very out and open people and were like, knocking at my door, like almost literally and figuratively, like going, "Hey girl, what's going on? Like, what are you doing out there?" And I just couldn't, I couldn't deal with it. So it took me a really long time to get through all of that. I didn't even get through it in the first season. I marched Field to be the first season. I was not out. It was like midway through the second season that even happened.
Girl, but they knew.
Oh God, yes, everybody knew. Everybody knew. It wasn't a question of did you know or not, but it was more of like, was I ready to say it? Of course, I had been doing it for the whole time, but that was a different story. So when I came out, it wasn't like a big like ta-da, Jeremy's out. It was like, oh well, now he's acknowledging it. So it was like, and then it all just kept going. I say this to sort of tie into where I am today and what I have sort of circled, like weirdly, not even circled my life with, but just like maybe shot off in a completely different direction, is now this kid from this little podunk town who was like told to be repressed and don't be, like just produced Philadelphia Pride with like 75,000 people, at a Pride festival, and had a 400-foot Pride flag move all across the city of Philadelphia in one day with like, hundreds of thousands of people seeing it online and stuff is the craziness of it all. It's like the sense of the juxtaposition, and none of it would have happened if the marching band and like the marching arts and color guard wasn't in my life. I literally would not be where I am today. And I get to say, it's really funny when I started to take over and go into the Philly Pride area and say like, this is what I want to do. And I kind of want to get involved in this organization. I made it very clear, and I still will make it very clear to every single person. I know that I am the gayest person in Philadelphia area, mid-Atlantic, to produce a parade. Like I'm the one, like I'm the gayest. My boss, Todd Marcacci, love him, boots down, everything, could produce the parade like nobody's business. But there's nobody more outwardly out there in the community. So when I got a chance to produce a parade, we went to the National Coming Out Day. And so now we're making it a national parade. And that's just like insane. It's insane to think, like I said, to go from Little Rising Sun, Maryland in like the corner of nowhere to like producing major Pride events in the city of Philadelphia is like just completely mind blowing. And it's all because of marching band. All of it.
Honestly, I think a lot of us, just in general on this podcast or anyone who's had contact with the marching arts, I think a lot of us wouldn't be in the same places we are if we didn't have band. And I think that's really cool that like band brought us together in a sense.
I am from a very, very small town in Mississippi, and I've said this on the podcast before, but, my connection to the arts and specifically with band, that was my way out. I was 16 years old the first year that I marched drum corps, and I got to leave my small town and literally travel the country. And that first year, Jeremy, I was only 16, but I was not out to everyone. I knew myself that I was gay at that point in time, but coming from where I came from, I wasn't comfortable sharing that with other people, even though I had gay friends. I even had a boyfriend, all of this stuff, but I wasn't outwardly ready to tell people that. And just being in the color guard world and the drum corps world and being around people and my instructors being gay and being in a relationship for years and years, it made it more comfortable for me to be able to understand and accept my truth and realize that I wasn't, for lack of a better word, a freak. that society tried to make me feel like I was. And I love it to this day. My first color guard instructor, even though I did not get to march color guard in high school except for drum corps, my first color guard instructor and his husband lived down the street from me here in Florida. So we meet up all the time for drinks and going and hanging out. And just hopefully, I say this, I hope that for my students that I have been around for the last long time that I've been teaching, I'm not going to put a year on it, but being an example for them to be able to have someone that they can see as happily out and proud, and that this world that we live in and the performing arts is a welcoming place for those people. So, all that being said, I'm going to shut my face because it's time for What Are We Doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
All right, Jeremy, what are we doing?
So I am jumping right in. And this isn't necessarily Pride related at all, but I do want to ask it before the end of this month happens. And I know this episode will air before July comes about, and we're really in the thick of drum corps time. But I'm asking this, what are we doing? It's a genuine question, maybe to Ricardo, because you're just coming off of tour with
I'm on a
the
break
Academy.
from tour.
Okay, yeah, a little break. Is what are we doing with the not showing any level of choreography, show announcements, costuming? Everything has to be this big secret in drum corps. Now, hear me out. This is okay. Hear me out. Okay. If you want to see a summer blockbuster and it's coming out in the summer, what do you see? You see the trailers, and I don't mean just like vague.
A teaser.
Yeah, but I don't mean these vague crap. Like, no, not just like zooming in and this and that. And it's look, those are cute for like the show announcements. Those are show announcements. Those are not like those aren't previews. Like, don't I want to like know like? I mean, wouldn't it be cool to be like, oh my God, I'm going to see that rifle feature. I wonder what the music is to it. Or like, do you see that music? You hear that music? I wonder what they're spinning to it. Like, there's ways to do it. I think that's smarter, that gets your audience more interested and less like, well, I'm just waiting for it to happen. I guess I'll just know when I go to the first show. But like, does that really make me want to go to the first show as like a sideline viewer? That's what I'm saying. What are we doing? Show, pre-DCI tour, telling people what's going on, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead, have your opinions.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to chime in with the inside of all of that because there's multiple layers to it. All right. So first of all, being someone that started marching back in the 1900s, the only way you knew what somebody was doing for a drum corps show was to get the magazine or the newspaper Drum Corps Planet or Drum Corps World, all of that stuff. So this whole show announcement and all of this stuff, that's a newfangled thing because of social media. All right. And I do think that we have overhyped some of the show stuff because some of these show announcements now are getting like they do look like Hollywood blockbuster productions, which is great. But here's the thing. The reason that you don't hear most people's music is because of copyright laws. There's only so much that corps can put out with their music, and being recorded is one of those things that's a big no-no. So if you check and you follow your favorite corps, most of them have some sort of preview thing, because I literally got on a plane after our preview performance on Saturday night in Arizona. We previewed all of our music, but it was for select ticket holders in a place. And we specifically had to tell them, you are not allowed to post this on the internet so that the corps will not be sued for copyright infringement.
Who is suing?
Disney.
No. Okay, so wait, back up. These are the things that I think some, and this is why I'm saying this, because what are we doing? We all need to really look at this and examine it for real. I know everybody got really scared like 15, 20 years ago when a certain defunct drum corps who was being ran by a certain person who's no longer in the drum corps world said, everybody's going to get sued. So Trey-Sona and all these things became a thing. Fine, I get that. We are in a TikTok social media existence. You are not telling me people are out there. Beyonce's like suing people on TikTok for using her music to display them going like boop, 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 boop. No.
So, again, I'm not the expert, but I have to play devil's advocate in this because most of the music that is on TikTok, they have paid licensing fees to the artists to be able to use those TikToks. So when you put out a TikTok or something, you can't have music on it unless it has already been licensed by the production companies to be able to use. So it really is a thing. I don't know who's out there suing people. I mean, most of the people that Drum Corps, they're playing the music of, I mean, really, your fan base is only this organization anyway, so you should be wanting to promote it, but I don't make the rules. I'm just reporting on what it is.
That's my point. Like, you're not promoting what you're selling. And ultimately, you're a product and you want people to come and see that product. Like, if you want people to come and see that product, I need to know what I'm buying. I need to know what I'm going to see. Like, this vagueness is just hard. It's just hard. Okay, I'll back out.
Also, all the drum corps have these giant media teams now. Like, what are they doing? What are we doing, media teams?
They're making the money on the TikTok. I mean, we've talked to Sam Moeller, like he's on the Santa Clara Vanguard. They're doing great stuff. If there is an entertainment value there that the media team is creating. And I will say this, and I will defend the media team boots down. Like, they're not getting their just due. They're not getting paid enough money at all. They're like what's halfway keeping some of these things going because of like the views and stuff and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So they're like making money for these corps. But the point, like, to show 15 seconds is not going to change anyone's copyright or infringe on absolutely anything.
Agreed.
You can share up to 30 seconds before you have to pay for it on a major news channel. Like,
agreed.
What are we doing? Okay.
What are we doing? Emily, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah, what are we doing? I guess since we're on the topic of social media and all that happy goodness, what are we doing when somebody makes a wholesome pride post and immediately, like, internet trolls would be like, oh, I hate this. I remember last year, teaser. So this is related, I swear, because I never thought this would happen to me, but it did. I made a really cute collection of pride flag themed uniforms. And I was just like, hey, like, look at these cool things I made. And like, one of the first comments I got on that post was, ew, nobody's going to wear these. And I'm like, wow, I was not expecting this many people to be allergic to fashion. So what are we doing? Making really unrelated comments about things. I was like, wow, you're allergic to fashion. Thank you for outing yourself.
Not allergic to fashion. I am gagged right now.
I will jump in here with you, Emily, because, having been now monitoring like the Philly Pride 365 account, which is the Philly Pride one, and we've obviously posted that big old flag that's all over Philadelphia and like people wanting to burn it and this and that and this and that. I have really come to the fine art of the comeback with them. Like, it is, if you go and check out Philly Pride 365, I am like coming back at them in just like a really smart way. I think that's, as marching band people, we could really do it. Think, be smart, twist their words, and come back at them. That's the goal. No more running away from these bullies. No more.
I was so close to literally posting, wow, did not come here to expect this many people being allergic to fashion, and just letting it rip. And just that would be the only thing I'd say. It'd be like, charisma check, go. Vicious mockery.
Can we just talk about the fact that you are going after people like in gay organizations? Do these people not realize that for our entire lives, we have learned how to read people? Like, we are not going to let you get away with it. We are going to read you for filth in the comments. Do not come for it because we're going to get you together. We are going to gather you.
And I gather them all the time. And if they don't like the gathering, you turn it just a hair sexual and boom, they are out. Oh, daddy, thanks, daddy. They're out. Boom, done.
That's a really great deterrent.
Works every time. You know those couple of emojis, those little sprinkly ones and a little drool one? Throw those up every time. They are done. They don't want to talk to you no more.
Eggplant. I cast eggplant.
I can't even finish because I'm laughing.
Set your equipment down. Gush and go.
All right, it is time for our gush and goes because we have done enough complaining. My dear Wit, what do you have to gush and go about right now?
Oh gosh. Well, the Indie Pride Guard, which Heather and I actually used to run, we started it in 2012, and then obviously there was COVID. Heather and I really haven't been super involved since post-COVID so much, but some new people are taking over. Del Duke, Danny Schweiger Young, and Ty Zastro. They're basically taking over the Pride Guard now, Indie Pride Guard. But I'm just really happy that it's still a thing, even though, Heather and I don't live there and we don't run it really anymore. And that other people are still taking care of that. But they had Pride this weekend and it went really well. And Chicago Pride Guard came down and they got some pictures with the Indie Pride Guard and hung out the night before. So it seemed like it was a really good time. I definitely have FOMO over it. But I'm just glad Indie Pride Guard is still around. 12 years if you don't count COVID, whatever.
Yeah.
I will jump right in on you, Whitney, because I want to gush and go about something that will hopefully have happened by the time this episode has aired. Because to come off of that Indie Pride Guard statement, we are working on a roundtable with Bobby to host as many Pride Guards to do a little roundtable before the end of June. So hopefully that will have happened and this episode is out and I could be like gushing. I should be gushing and going about how amazing that episode was because this episode will be at the end of the month. But we're working on that. So I'm gushing about that happening. That has happened and we did it. It was great. It was yay. Go listen to that episode. Okay.
Yay. Emily, what are you gushing about right now?
My gush and go is I'm really excited for all of the Pride events I'm going to be performing at with RCPA. So, mass excitement.
That's fantastic. Well, my gush is I am, as we are recording this episode of the podcast, listeners, I am on a week break from my stint on Drum Corps Tour, and I am just ecstatic about my wonderful performers at the Academy. We are having a great time learning this amazing show and just pushing, and I will tell you, I thought that 108 degrees was going to be completely brutal. It only sucks a little bit. Compared to the Florida heat with the moist humidity. Dry heat is different. And everybody kept saying, oh, it's dry heat. It's different. So, it's not that bad. So, yeah. All right. Well, listen. Thanks everyone for a great rehearsal this week. Thank you to our host, Emily and Whitney and Jeremy popping in with us. And also to our guest clinicians, David, Rosa, and Jen. And one more thing, don't forget that we have a YouTube channel now that has many of our interviews coming out as well as full video editions. Go and subscribe so you don't miss those. So before you close out your podcast listening app, go subscribe, write us a review, and share this with a friend. Follow us on social media at On a Water Break, and we'll see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Gay band.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Reams. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.